What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JR Sports, back with another Chargers video. Today we're going to discuss what our top 5 offseason needs are for this upcoming 2022 season. What we got to do to get over that hump to actually make the playoffs. You already know in the last video I went on a full-on rant on what exactly went down this season, who's to blame. So this video right here is going to be about what we got to do to ensure that we're legit Super Bowl contenders for next season. So let's get into it. All right, so one of our biggest needs going into this season is that we need to draft a mean, big defensive tackle. We don't need a Jerry Tillery. We don't need a Linval Joseph. We need to find a defensive tackle that is going to be a run stopper. This season, our defense was so bad, particularly our run defense. Our pass defense was actually ranked 12th in the NFL, which is not that bad. That means we're kind of top of the pack. Not bad at all, but our run defense was horrendous, and it starts in the trenches. We gave up a total of 2,361 rush yards, which was third in the NFL, third most in the NFL. We also gave up 22 rushing touchdowns, which was also third most in the NFL. And the only two teams that were above us were the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are rebuilding, and the Houston Texans, who are a total mess of a team. So there's no way why our defense should be ranked that low. And again, it starts in the trenches. And to top things off, we ranked 30th in rush defense. We gave up an average of 138 yards per game, which was ranked 30th. I think I just said that, but I want to emphasize that we were ranked the 30th rush defense in the NFL.
Y'all are trash. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are trash.
So, like I said, we need a run-stuffing D-tackle. Someone who's going to penetrate at the point of attack and not get pushed back like some of the players we currently have. So that's our number one biggest need this season, because our offense, they put up points, but our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Even when you knew the run was coming, everybody knew when the run was going to come. There's nothing we could do about it. So this offseason, it's up to Telesco to find a defensive tackle, whether that comes from the draft or from the offseason. We need a D tackle that's going to help improve this horrendous, awful. I ran out of adjectives to describe how awful this defense was. Our second biggest need this season is to find a right tackle to solidify our offensive line for Justin Herbert. Like many of you guys, I was very upset that we did not really take a lot of deep shots, especially going into the middle half of the season and the later part of the season. But the problem with that was we could not protect Herbert to let those deep routes develop. And if you guys paid close attention, when we did hit those deep shots, it was mainly when Justin Herbert was able to roll out, create time on his own with his legs, and hit that deep ball to either Mike Williams or Jalen Guyton or whoever was open. So our second priority, is to find a right tackle to help solidify our offensive line. Corey Linsley, second-team All-Pro. Rashawn Slater, second-team All-Pro. Filer had an okay season. I would like to see him come back. I think he's already under contract. And we need a right tackle because Bulaga got paid, hasn't played a game. I don't even know. He better be cut immediately as soon as his season ends. Tom Telesco needs to if we got to lose money cutting him, oh well, just get rid of him. He's just wasting a roster spot. Trey Pipkins unfortunately hasn't really developed. He's had some flashes in a couple of games, but if I was just a Herbert, I wouldn't feel comfortable with Pipkins. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a solid backup, but he's not a starting caliber right tackle. Storm Norton, that guy has nightmares of Max Crosby right now.
Help me! Help me!
So again, Pipkins, Norton, they're not awful.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
But they're not a starting right tackle. So what we need to do is we need to find, again, go back into the trenches. We need to solidify our trenches, get a right tackle that's going to allow Justin Herbert to get this time to take the deep shots. But not only that, to allow our running backs to find holes on the right side of the O-line too. Most of our running plays that were successful came on the left side. I mean, given we had Rashawn Slater. So if we could balance out the way we run, give Justin Herbert more time. If our offense is successful, that'll benefit the defense. Because if a defense is playing with the lead against an offense that's trying to catch up, it basically messes up their game plan. So if our offense could be lethal, it'll help take some of the weight off the defense. And I think that's exactly what we need to do. So finding a right tackle, a starting caliber right tackle, not a backup right tackle, someone who could stay healthy, not someone who's old and is just here to collect a check, is a second most important thing we need to do this offseason. For the number 3 biggest need we need this offseason, a middle linebacker that could stop the run. Unfortunately, Kenneth Murray has not been able to develop into the middle linebacker we thought we were getting. Actually, unfortunately, he descended this season. I don't know if it has to do with the scheme we're running or what exactly it is, but we need a middle linebacker that could stuff the run. Someone it doesn't matter if he's a first and second down linebacker. We just need someone who could help get us into those third and long or third and 10s. That's going to help us play to our strength, which was our pass defense. Drew Tranquill is not a first and second down linebacker. He's more of a guy you bring into a dime package or a nickel package. His coverage isn't great, but it's not as bad as, let's say, Kenneth Murray. Kaiser White, he's our weak side linebacker. Again, you guys need to remember Kaiser White was a strong safety coming out of college. So the whole plan was always for him to become a weak side linebacker, and he excels at that. He's actually one of the players that I think we need to pay this offseason, but that's another video that I'm going to get into later. So what we need to do is we need to find a first and second down linebacker that's good against the run, actually great against the run. I don't know, someone like, Denzel Perryman, who we let go, someone like that. But yeah, the point is we need to really solidify that run defense that's going to allow us to play to our strength and not basically go in knowing us as fans, okay, they're going to run it down our throats, so what's Brandon Staley going to do? And I think that starts with the personnel that we need to pick up. So again, we need to find a run-stuffing first and second down linebacker. If you could play all 3 downs, that'd be great. But theoretically what we need is we need a first and second down linebacker that could stop the run. We'll be able to rotate Kaiser in a dime package or Drew Tranquill when it's third and long. And that's exactly what we need. We just need to be able to stop these third and shorts where our defense is going to be put in situations where they don't know what's coming, if it's a run or a pass. So we need a linebacker. Because Kenneth Murray, like I said, unfortunately hasn't developed. Again, it's barely year 2, but for me, even if he does develop, we still need another linebacker because our linebacker corps are really weak. Our 4th biggest need this offseason is to stabilize our special teams unit. As many of you guys know, if you're a Chargers fan, our special teams unit has been horrendous for numerous years. We fired the whole special team staff, so that tells me at least they recognize that the special teams is a big problem. So what we really need to do is we need to stabilize that part of our team. Again, it's offense, defense, and special teams. You might have the best offense, you might have the best defense, but if your special teams is trash, you're not going to win anything. And proof of that is the 2010 Chargers. We had the number 1 ranked defense, number 1 ranked offense, but we did not make the playoffs because our special teams were horrendous. So to basically tell you guys how bad our special teams was, Ty Long's average net punt was 36 yards. 37 if you want to round up. To put that into perspective, there are some kickers who had a better net average punt than Ty Long. Does that necessarily have to do with his boot or with the people who we are sending down there to cover the punt? And the punt return doesn't get any better. We were actually on the bottom half of punt returns in regards to yards. So we averaged 5.9 yards a return. 5.9 yards, guys. So we would have been better off just basically fair catching every punt. And again, this has to do with the personnel that we have lined up to essentially block for our punt returner or essentially for the people we have going down there to make the tackle against the punt. So stabilizing our special teams, I think we found our kicker. Granted, Hopkins is not going to hit a 50-yarder, but if he's good from 40 down, I think that'll help us a lot. But we really need to stabilize our special teams, and that's a big part of that is our punt unit. Our punt unit and our punt return unit. So stabilizing those, getting the right personnel, getting the right coach is going to be big time for this team, because if we could flip the field and make the opposing team start from the 20 to the end zone, somewhere around that area, it would be big for our defense, and it would be big for our offense if we could get some return yards for Justin Herbert. Okay, and for me, the 5th, and this honestly, I really wanted to put this number 1, but this for me is a big need, but I went with more player-wise what we need for my top 3. I think you guys could see that. But for me, the 5th most important thing, but that should be ranked higher in my opinion, I think you guys might agree, is we need a new defensive coordinator. And I'm putting this into one. We need a new defensive coordinator, and we need more defensive personnel. What I mean by defensive personnel is we need better backups. We need better rotation options. We really need to kill this draft in this offseason and stack up our defense. With all due respect to Tavon Campbell, he if he's on the field, they're gonna pick on him, and it was obvious. Once Kenneth Murray went down, Nick Demon, I mean, it's too early to call whether he's good or not, but we need more personnel out there to back up our defense when we get hurt. Kyler Fackrell, we signed in the offseason, was supposed to help with the pass rush. He had a very minimal impact, aside from the Wilson and Bosa. We really don't have a pass rush, whether that be the interior or the outside rushers. Chris Rumph looked nice some games, so I expect him to fully come more into the rotation this next season, but we need more options. We need more options in case of injury, and we need more options in case we're getting gassed on defense. And also, we need a new defensive coordinator. I don't know who called the plays this season. I don't know what scheme we ran, but you need to throw that out the window. We were the 30th ranked defense overall. We had the 30th scoring defense, so we gave up the third most points. We gave up 107 third down conversions, which was good for 49.5%. We gave up 43 red zone TDs, which was the third most in the NFL. And this is the biggest one for me. The biggest issue is we had 127 missed tackles this season, which was the third most in the NFL. So again, I don't know what scheme we're running. I don't know who's calling the play calls. I don't know who's coaching our defense. But throw that out the trash. We fired our special teams coach. We need to fire whoever our defensive coordinator is. But that's not going to happen because it was Brandon Staley. I'm just throwing that out there to let you guys know how bad our defense was. It was super bad. It was horrendous. We need a new. I don't know if we need a new scheme or what, but we need a better guy in the helm running this defense, because it is unacceptable for our defense to be worse this year than it was in 2020 when our defense was awful and we were running cover 3. So this, for me, I really wanted to put this up number 1, but what I wanted to do was really emphasize the type of players we need to help this team get to another level. But this is a big issue on this team. Whatever our defensive scheme is, whoever's calling the plays, whoever's coaching this guys up, something needs to change. The top 5 needs that I have for the Chargers this year is 1, we need a defensive tackle. 2, we need a right tackle. 3, we need a linebacker, run-stuffing linebacker. 4, we need to stabilize our special teams. And 5, we need a new defensive scheme, defensive coordinator, and more defensive personnel to help aid this defense. Let me know what y'all think. Drop a like, drop a comment. Remember to subscribe, share this video to your friends who are also Charger fans. And again, let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe I missed one. Maybe you have something that's a bigger need. But for me, these are my top 5 needs. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.